one family tradition you thought was normal? In my family, daughters were handed over to older men the second they showed signs of becoming women. It didn't matter if you were barely a teenager. The moment your body changed meant you were ready for a husband who could be your grandfather. I grew up thinking this was just how things worked until I turned 11, because that's when I saw my cousin Rachel get matched with a 45-year-old businessman, just days after her body started changing. His first two wives had passed away before their 20th birthdays. That was the first night I chose to eat less on purpose. Not because I thought I was heavy, and not because I didn't like food, but because I noticed the most malnutritioned girls in our community would be the last ones to start developing, and I knew it was my only way out. The other girls called me stick figure, but I didn't mind. Other girls my age were already matched with men who had kids older than us. That didn't mean they stopped training me to be a wife, though. Every Saturday from midnight to 9 in the morning, I had to bring food to the men in our family for hours without making a sound. And of course, if I looked them in the eye or made any noise while serving, then I would get hit with a leather strap 10 times. They made me carry hot pans without gloves to make my hands strong for cooking work. And every night my mother rubbed bleaching lotion all over my face so I could be pretty. And besides the secret hunger, I was the perfect daughter. I acted the part without any pushback and always talked about how happy I was to have babies someday. But when I was 14 and my body still hadn't changed, I found something that turned my world upside down. For background, we were living in America the whole time, LOL. My mother had just made us believe that all of this was normal and that any girl who didn't follow these rules was going to end up alone, plus being worth nothing and ugly. Until one teacher made me stay after class because I had worn a loose shirt to school by mistake, and she noticed how thin I was. When she stepped out to use the restroom, she had left her desk drawer open. Inside were books about marriage rules, papers with titles like Your Rights as a Minor and When Tradition Becomes Illegal. As I read, my mouth fell open. It was the first time I had learned that getting married before 18 was against the law. No tradition excuses, no parent permission allowed. I took the smallest paper, tucking it in my pants. Over the next few weeks, when my family thought I was sleeping, I read over every word. Phone numbers for child services, secure house locations, the exact words that would make someone report. I found out that teachers, counselors, and nurses had to tell the right people by law. So I started a homemaking club in my uncle's garage. 6 younger cousins who hadn't started changing yet, all scared of what was coming. There, I showed them what I'd found out, which teachers had to report, how to say the words that would make them call for help. We practiced quietly. They're making me get married. I'm only 13. Please help me. And at 15, my body turned against me. The change happened during breakfast prep. I started having my period, which began showing through my light dress. My mother's happy scream brought every woman in the house running. They were all smiling huge, hugged my face, told me I was blessed. By dinner, my father had already picked my husband, Gabriel, a factory owner who'd lost 2 wives before they hit 23. Heart problems, the paper said. The women said quietly it was from having too many babies too young. 2 days later, my cousin Emma, a girl from the garage, started bleeding too. Within hours, she was matched to a 53-year-old who had a collection of wives who had 9 kids older than her. I saw the hope leave her face as they talked about her price like she was an animal. That night, I gave her my notes. Every secure house number, every legal fact, every way out I'd learned. Tomorrow, I told her quietly. Tell the biology teacher. Say the exact words I showed you. Her hands were shaking as she took it. What about you? My wedding's not for 2 weeks. I'll find a way, I said, my voice breaking, but I was wrong. Because that night, someone knocked on our door. It was child services. My father's face went from mixed up to angry as they asked about Emma, about child brides, about forced weddings. They needed to talk to all the girls in the family under 18. The second they left, the family closed in like hunters. In their minds, someone had been teaching the girls bad ideas. Someone had filled their pure heads with American lies. They tore the house apart, searching for the traitor. Well, my notebook was found hidden in the garage within an hour, and it had phone numbers and laws written everywhere. My father lit it on fire in front of everyone while calling me sick, ruined, and, my favorite, a disease that needed to be removed. The wedding is tomorrow, he shouted, before she ruins anyone else. Morning came too soon. In an hour, they would come to put me in red and gold clothes to give me to a man who'd already called 2 girls. Full story on channel, link below.